Welcome to St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. This college is affiliated to Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak and approved by All India Council for Technical Education. This video lecture is a part of series developed for online classes. Hello everyone, my name is Ashish Tripathi and I am working as an assistant professor at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management since 2015. My areas of interest are data analysis and data visualization, which are recommended to be a data scientist. Let's begin our journey for the course Object-Oriented Programming using C++. In this course, we will study about the inheritance, virtual and friend function of Unit 3 of C++. Inheritance. Inheritance is the property of object-oriented programming where a class acquires the properties of another class and extends those properties. It provides reusability to the code. It saves time, money and efforts. It increases reliability of the code. The following are the benefits of inheritance. Inheritance expresses the relationship between the classes. Inheritance is based on reusability, which saves time, money, and is easier to maintain. Inheritance is transitive in nature, that is, acquired properties of a class will be passed down to all its subclasses. Types of inheritance. The class from which the properties are inherited is called the base class or the superclass. The class which inherits the properties is called the derived class or the subclass. Now there are 5 types of inheritance. The first one is the single inheritance. When a subclass inherits directly from one base class, it is called the single inheritance. Here, the base class X is being inherited by the subclass Y. Multiple inheritance. When a subclass inherits from multiple base classes, it is known as multiple inheritance. Here, X and Y, two base classes, are being inherited by the third Z class. To maintain the single inheritance, we write the class keyword followed by the derived class name, then colon, visibility mode and base class name. Visibility mode can be private, public or protected. Similarly, for multiple inheritance, we write class keyword, then derived class name, scope, visibility mode first for the base 1 of the class, comma, visibility mode second for the second base class, and so on. Hierarchical inheritance. When many subclasses inherit from a single base class, it is known as the hierarchical inheritance. Here, a class W is inherited by the classes X, Y, and Z. Multi-level inheritance. When a subclass inherits from a class which itself has been inherited from the other class, then it is known as multi-level inheritance. In this, the Z is being derived from Y, which itself is being derived from the class X. So X is the grandparent class, Y is the parent of the Z child. Hybrid inheritance. It combines two or more forms of inheritance. Here, multiple inheritance and hierarchical inheritance are combined to form the hybrid inheritance. Here is a table to showcase the visibility modes in inheritance. There are 3 visibility modes: public, protected and private. When we use the private visibility mode, then all the public members in the derived classes and the protected members in the derived classes becomes the private members. When we use the protected visibility mode, then the public members in the derived classes and the protected members in the derived classes becomes the protected members. When we use the public visibility mode, then the public members in the derived classes becomes the public and the protected members in the derived classes becomes the protected. Remember that private members of the base class are not directly accessible to derived classes, yet they are being inherited by the subclasses. Derived privately when the derived class requires to use some attributes of the base class and these inherited features are intended not to be inherited further. Derived protected when the features are required to be hidden from the outside world and at the same time required to be inheritable. Derived publicly when situation wants that the derived class to have all the attributes of the base class and some extra ones. When an object of the derived class is created, first the base class constructor is invoked followed by the derived class constructors. When an object of the derived class expires, then first the derived class destructor is invoked followed by the base class destructor. Here is an example to showcase the inheritance. Here a class base has two data members, integer a and float b. It has a constructor base which assigns the value of a as I and b as j. Then we derive this class from the class derived. Derived class also has two members x and y. In the constructor of the derived class, we have four parameters I, j, p and q. Also there is explicit call to the base constructor. The x and y in the derived classes are assigned the values I and j and the p and q values are passed down to the base class constructor. A derived class inherits all the members of the base class but has direct access privilege to only the non-private members of the class. Virtual base class. When a derived class receives multiple copies of a base element through multiple routes, then there arises an ambiguity for that element. This can be rectified in two ways: scope resolution operator and using virtual keyword. In the scope resolution operator, we have to manually set the complete path of the element of the base class. By using the virtual keyword, the inherited base class are declared virtual. Here is a problem showcasing that there is a class A which has a public integer a as a variable. Now a is being derived by classes d1 and d2. Both are public. There is a class d3 which is being derived from d1 and d2. Hence, when we create an object of class d3 in the main and assign the value of a variable through its object, then it becomes an ambiguous situation, as the main function will not know that this object can access the a via d1 class or via d2 class. There is a solution for this. The first solution is that you have to write down the complete path for the a variable, that is ob.d1 scope a equals 10 or ob.d2 scope a equal to 10. In this way, using the scope resolution operator, you are directly passing the value for the complete path so that the compiler knows which way to choose. There is also a solution. In this, when we are deriving the class d1 and d2 from the base class A, we are writing the keyword virtual before the visibility mode operator. In this way, the classes D1 and D2 receive the virtual copies of the base class A. So when we are using the OB of object of the class D3 to assign the value to the A variable, then it becomes unambiguous and the compiler has the control right that it is following the base class A variable. Nesting of classes. When a class contains object of other class types as its member, it is referred to as containership or containment or aggregation. This is known as nesting of classes. There are three types of relationship between the class: is a, has a, and holds a. In the is a section, when a class is derived from another class and resembles just like the base class, it is called the is a class. That means water is a liquid. That means water is derived completely from the liquid class. So it has a is a relationship. Has a relationship. When a class contains object of the another class type, then it is called a has a relationship. For example, the cup has the coffee. That means the coffee object is contained inside the cup class. The third is holds a. It is same as has a relationship, but it has no ownership. In this, a class indirectly contains another class object via pointers or reference. Method overriding. When a member method of a class is redefined in its subclass, then the signature of that function is same but the definition changes. This type of mechanism is called method overriding. In this, when the function is called, then subclass method is executed. Here is an example to showcase method overriding. We are writing a class ABC having the public member function as show. In that show, we have a statement known as cout inside ABC. Then we derive class ABC into class XYZ. XYZ rewrite the definition of the show function just with the same signature, hence it is following the method overriding, but it changes the definition of the function by displaying inside XYZ. Inside the main function, when we are calling by the object of the class XYZ, then the show function of the XYZ is being called. So we can say that the show function of XYZ class has overridden the show function of class ABC. This is known as method overriding. Friend function. A friend function of a class is defined outside that class scope, but it has right to access all the private and protected members of the class. Even though the prototype of friend function appear in the class definition, friends are not the member functions. A friend can be a function, function template, or member function, or a class template, in which case the entire class and all its members are friends. To declare a friend as a friend of a class, precede the function prototype in the class definition with the keyword friend. Here is an example to showcase the friend function. We have a class box having width as the data member, and there are two functions. First function is the friend function, that is the print width of the box object. The second is the set width function. The set width function is being defined outside the class box with that the WID variable is been assigned to the width variable of the class. So we have to note that printWrit is not a member function of any class. The printWrit function is defined outside the class, but there is no return type and there is no access module for that. Because printWrit is a friend of a box, it can directly access any member of its class. Inside the main function, we are making the object of the class box. Then this box object is calling the setWrit function, and we are directly calling the printWrit function without the box object. It is so because the printWrit function is a friend function and it can be called directly without the object. We need to pass down the object of the class box inside it as an argument so that it can access the variables and the members of that class. Virtual function. A virtual function is a function in a base class that is declared using the keyword virtual. Defining a virtual function in a base class signals to the compiler that there is no static linkage for this function. What we do to want is a selection of the function to be called at any given point in the program to be based on the kind of object for which it is called. This sort of operation is referred to as the dynamic linkage. Pure virtual function. It is possible that you want to include a virtual function in a base class so that it may be redefined in the derived class to suit the object of that class, but that there is no meaningful definition you could give for the function in the base class. For example, here is a shape class which has the pure virtual function. In this, there is a protected member, width and height. There is a public member, that is a constructor for the shape class. It has the two arguments a and b. Width is assigned a, height is assigned b, and there is a pure virtual function area which is assigned to as 0. Note that the pure virtual function doesn't have any body. The equal to 0 tells the compiler that the function has no body, and above the virtual function will be called as the pure virtual function. Abstract class. The C++ interfaces are implemented using the abstract class. A class is made abstract by declaring at least one of its functions as the pure virtual function. A pure virtual function is specified by placing equal to 0 in its declaration. The purpose of an abstract class is to provide an appropriate base class from which other classes can inherit. Abstract classes cannot be used to instantiate objects and serves only as an interface. Attempting to instantiate an object of an abstract class causes a compilation error. Thus, if a subclass of an abstract class needs to be instantiated, it has to implement each of the virtual functions. Failure to override a pure virtual function in a derived class, then attempting to instantiate object of that class is a compilation error. Classes that can be used to instantiate object are called the concrete class. Here is an example to showcase the abstract class. We have made a class shape that is a base class. It contains a pure virtual function getArea. It also has some normal functions like setWidth and setHeight. Since it has a pure virtual function getArea, so this shape class becomes abstract class. When we derive this base class from into a rectangle and triangle child class, then it is mandatory for the derived classes rectangle and triangle to define the getArea function. Inside the main, we create the object of the classes rectangle and triangle. When we call the function get area of rectangle, then we are getting the area of the rectangle. When we are calling the get area function from the triangle object, then we are getting the area of the triangle. Hence, the same function get area is being rectified to derive classes rectangle and triangle as they have been defined. A class declared with pure abstract function is an abstract class. This class cannot be instantiated. It should always be derived by the subclasses. It should be used when we want to provide a class with partial implementation. It is used to provide common features to be shared by all the subclasses. It can contain instance variables. This class may or may not have complete method definition, that is, both normal and virtual methods are allowed in the abstract class. If a class does not provide definition to its methods, then that class itself becomes abstract. If a subclass does not define all the pure virtual methods, then it also becomes abstract class. An abstract class can inherit other abstract class and make a hierarchy. It makes the programming more flexible and easy. Based on today's session, we have some of the questions like what is inheritance, explain its types, how method overriding is done, give a program for it, what is virtual base class and virtual functions. Also, write about the abstract classes in C++. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you have enjoyed today's session. In today's session, you have learned about the inheritance, types of inheritance, visibility modes in inheritance, virtual base classes, method overriding, friend function, virtual function, and about the abstract class. If you have any query, you can ask me directly. See you in my next lecture. Till then, take care and goodbye.